Hi, welcome to Football Uncensored. I'm Don Shanks. With me again today, Alan Hudson. Alan, how are you enjoying things in Gran Canaria? Weather's great.
Well, strangely enough, after the last couple of days, it's losing Diego. The weather's changed for the worst.
Yeah.
It's got, and there's going to be thunderclouds almost as if they've been ordered.
Yeah, back to sort of maybe the English weather for a little bit. Obviously, the real sad news this week: Diego Maradona has passed away tragically. Let's talk about him as the footballer, not the one in England where everybody thinks, well, you know, the hand of God. But let's talk about his ability as a player. How good was he?
I can only say that I watched the greats of the 60s. I got into the team in 1970 at Chelsea. I was in the same field as George Best, Johan Cruyff and Pelé in the first 6-9 months of being a young player. But there was one player I would love to have been on the field with, is this fellow, to see, because what I've seen of him on film and in World Cups and everything else he's done, he surely must have been the greatest of all time.
I mean, you use the word genius. You know, he's had a gift from God, if you like.
See, the word genius is used too loosely these days, isn't it? Yeah. And but this
He
fella,
was pure genius.
he was a true genius. There's no doubt about it. We've watched him. I always look at players and, as you do people and of any walk of life, and you try and find fault, and you watch him play and you can't find fault.
I mean, obviously with geniuses, there's a bit of baggage with them, to the point of, let's say George Best, for instance. George was a genius for all of us. Fantastic player, but lifestyle.
Elvis,
yeah, he wasn't a footballer, but he was,
But
he was a decent singer.
that's what happens. That's what happens with geniuses, though. It's that's what happens with it when people are really become hugely iconic, and this fella became bigger than anybody else in the game.
Well, there's no doubt that he would be, in my opinion, classed as the best player in the world ever.
Yeah, I mean, there were players that probably, if the Hungarians might say that Puskas was.
The
Dutch will say
Cruyff.
Johan Cruyff. Well, it's a great. This is why we do what we do, because it's a debate, it's an argument, and we used to call it pub talk. But there's no doubt in my mind, I've seen this fella do things that no other player. I thought Johan Cruyff was the only one that could actually do things that other people can't. But this fella won the World Cup for Argentina single-handedly. They had no right to win it because they weren't good enough. Other teams, you know, when England won it, they weren't the best team in the world, but they did have 4 world-class players. Argentina didn't have any. They just had the greatest player. You know.
I think the world recognises how brilliant, how great Maradona was. 3 days of mourning in Argentina. Minute silence, respect from teams all around Europe. It speaks for itself how good they thought he was on the football field.
Well, I think in Naples as well. He had a lot of trouble in Naples. He'd done more miracles than Lord himself in Naples. What he did for the Napoleons is,
I mean, Napoli were more or less at the bottom of the league when he.
Yeah, they were nothing.
They'd not tasted any success for forever, really. And in comes this guy.
Yeah, and as we always say, we talk about managers and we say, like Mourinho and Guardiola, they take all on the best clubs in the world and they're rated as the best coaches. But I'd like to see them in charge of Stoke City or someone like that.
But I mean, obviously, as you know, like all the players, the best players in the world now, transfer fees are through the windows, 120, 140 mil, 160 mils. Maradona today would have broke all records ever known.
Well, it's strange. I got a phone call earlier on and somebody said to me, Sky News had a poll of the best player in the world since, and Ronaldo was 1, Messi was 2, Maradona was 3, and Pele was 4. Now, how ridiculous! How ridiculous!
Yeah, but it's because of the media today. You know, everyone didn't see these guys. You know, they're seeing Ronaldo, they're seeing Messi, they're current players, they're still doing it, and fantastic
Well, they're current
players.
players, but they're.
But that's why they got the big following, because they're current players, you know.
Yeah, but you don't.
You've played against the best players in the world. You know the difference on the field. You know what it takes to be genius. You know, when you've got 4 players in front of you, you've got a guy who can solo go around them and keep the ball and carry on, like the second goal we got for Argentina against England when they knocked us out. You know, that was total sheer brilliance. That was something you just don't see every day. And yeah, Ronaldo gets great goals, Messi gets great goals. But this guy, you know, his format really joins Napoli. You know, we're getting back to the players now that signing for 120, 140 million. Who would join Napoli? They're at the bottom of the league. All these great players join the best clubs.
Well,
He's joined one of the worst clubs in the league, transformed them, a hero in the city, and that speaks volumes.
well, he's.
You know, you wouldn't see Ronaldo join Burnley, would you?
Absolutely not, no. And you wouldn't see.
You wouldn't see Messi go and join like West Brom.
No, no.
But he done the equivalent of that in Italy at that particular time, joining Napoli.
Well, he left Barcelona, and he said that he wasn't happy at Barcelona, who were as big as anybody in the world, and he left Barcelona and went to a team very low, where nobody else would have went, and he picked them up, and they won the first 2 championships in the entire history. And he's known as, you know, we used to call Bobby Moore God, but this fella is the real thing.
Well, I mean, he had that, the power, he had the change of pace, he controlled the ball like it was stuck to his foot. And, you know, his brain, his decision making was so good.
Well, his warm-up was worth the entrance fee.
Well, it was. I mean, obviously everyone's seen the warm-ups on YouTube, and it's just quite incredible. Remember, you were saying something about Dave Sexton.
Yeah.
When you had a good Chelsea team, you go out, you'd be in fours, you'd be passing and moving. While Madonna's just doing his little thing, keeping the ball up and getting himself mentally tuned in.
It speaks volumes for the problems in the English game that, you know, you're told what to do before a game, and it's just a coaching thing again, which I disagree with. But this fella is the greatest example of not being able to be coached. He's uncoachable. I mean,
where did he get all this skill? I mean, in Brazil, you see him playing on the beach. In Argentina, I take it it's the same sort of situation. You come from a very difficult background, you know, in as much as financial. There's no one got any new boots. Everyone's just in bare feet and doing what they do.
Where did Frank Sinatra get his voice? You know, it's called a gift. And that some people have the gift and some people don't, but he was given a very, very special gift, more special than anyone before him, and I don't think there'll be another one like him again. He's just incredible.
Well, there's never anybody going to have a funeral that's taken the whole world like just by storm, in as much as, well, this is how good this guy was. Look at everywhere in the world is just sort of, people are nearly crying, you know, who don't sort of know him. It's like,
well, you've hit something on the head there, that because in the end that's what he wanted to be. And I heard people talk about him and said he was a great friend to everybody. He wanted, even before he died, he went around, he wanted to make up to people that he fell out with, you know, whoever's fault it was. He was a good person, and yet I'm sorry to bring it up, Don, but you know, the English press have really given him a terrible...
Yeah, I mean, it's time to forget, isn't it? And time to forget and move on and just appreciate Diego for what a brilliant footballer he was.
Well,
everybody in our life, I mean, we've all like died for a penalty. We've all done one thing or another. It was just such a situation that was like, for English fans, something that we really couldn't accept, and it's never gone away. And you know, even some of the comments by the press just lately, I think it's a little bit.
I don't like people that call you cheats. The English press, and Gary Lineker's been on at BBC. talks about he's in the hands of God and all this. You can't be tongue-in-cheek when someone dies. We're going through a pandemic where people have lost loved ones, and he's using the death of somebody to crack a joke. And it's not a joke.
I think it's in bad taste.
This is deadly serious.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. I was like you. I didn't really take kindly to reading that thing, thinking that, okay, you've got your point over. And it's a little bit of a cheap shot, I think.
There's just no need to say it. There's no need. Not when people die. We've all lost loved ones. We've all grieved and everything else. And he said it was a smile on his face. As much as to say, oh, he's gone and I played against him. I mean, I remember Gary Lineker playing, I think it might have been in the same World Cup when we played against Cameroon, and he got 2 penalties. I'm sure he really did make the most of one of them.
Yeah.
And if that had been Diego Maradona, they would have called him a cheat again. You know, these people should look in the mirror.
Yeah. I mean, if the boot's on the other foot, as I say, like, you don't expect you're going to get away with it when you do it, but he actually did. It wasn't his fault. It was the officials. So he's just going to do that because that's a natural thing there. And then a goalie coming out as a punch in your head, you flick it out of the way, and you think, oh well, no big deal. They're going to give handball, but they didn't.
It's like Donna. I love my cricket as well, and I've seen that we've been through all this with cricket. You know, ball tampering and rubbing the ball, and shouldn't do this with the ball. That was in any sport, in any walk of life. If you can get an edge, you want an edge. Like even silly things like taking a throw in 10 yards up the field, 15 that leads to a goal, and anybody in their right mind would have done what Maradona. If he'd have done that in England in 1966 and that led to the winning goal, he would have been the greatest thing of all time in England. You know, because he's Argentina, we had a problem with them in the Falklands, and it left a nasty taste. They shouldn't treat people like this.
But as you say, the guy, he's died now, and I just feel all that should be all out of the way, and everyone should just be applauding him for, you know, what a great
well, that's why we're doing this today.
I didn't know him as a person, but I actually was in USA in the World Cup. I think it was '94, I'm thinking, and I went to Boston to watch Maradona. They played Nigeria. I was with the Nigerian team, not officially with them, but a friend of mine was the Clemens Westhoff, the coach, his friend, and we got invited. And I was actually coaching in Nigeria prior to the team. And he went there, and the presence of Maradona on the field was just unbelievable. He was Argentina's only hope in the game. You know, he just done things. Oh wow! You know, you was aghast by what he done and how easy he done it. You know, and Nigeria beat him that day. And like you just looked and you sort of seen Maradona and you thought, it's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. And you know them big Nigerians. You know, they're 6'4", 6'6", this. And he was frightened of no one.
Yeah.
You know, he was getting smashed to bits. His skill was coming out, and you know, but that was the only time I actually seen him live, and I felt that you know, you could just see brilliance in him. You know, what a player he must have been. You know, I mean, it must have been a pleasure. Like, what was it, Kempes and all them who used to play with him?
Well, I think he might have come a little bit after, but he followed a load of great players. It was just an incredible situation, really.
I mean, we've had Ardiles and we've had Ricardo Villa after they won the World Cup come and play for Tottenham. And you know, they were great players as well. There was a good midfield player. You've got Lionel Messi, probably, as you say on that poll, number 2 in the world voted. And like Lionel Messi was distraught and here when he died and said he was Mr. Football, he was Argentina, he was everything that we believed in.
Yeah. It was, you know, I remember Bobby Moore dying, and I was very sad. But I could go out and raise a glass and be quite happy that I knew him and I loved him. Yeah. And but I can't find anything to be happy here. I think it's a real sour taste in my mouth of the send off that the English are giving. And I'm not very.
It's
happy.
Not everybody. You know, there's a lot of English fans, you know, who appreciate him for what he is. Yeah, we're all taken back. We was all annoyed at the time and one thing and another. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, we love our football, and we love him as a player, and he's been brilliant all his life as a footballer. I know he went into management, he done other stuff, and who knows what was going on in them days, you know, but he was never out the headlines. He's been a superstar of a magnitude that worldwide he's known, everywhere he's known. You know, the South Americans, they all love him, and everywhere in the world this guy goes, he has a following.
I mean,
he's like Muhammad Ali, you know what I mean? He was like the
Well,
following coming from everywhere.
only, you know, he didn't have that much to say, but
No.
but it was, as you say, it was the 90 minutes which made him the genius. It wasn't anything else he'd done. But he also, as I say, the 10 minutes before kick-off was, I could watch that and then go home and be happy.
Sure.
You know.
Do you think there'll ever be another one like him? We are producing players, technically players are coming through, they got all the tricks, they look fantastic, but you know, you need the brain as well. He was like the complete master.
Well, I see on his documentary, I see how he trained as well, Don, and people get it all wrong, and young players of today, and they think because they have this ability, they don't have to work so hard. But it actually is the opposite. The more ability you have, the harder you have to work to maintain and that consistency. And that's what he was. When he went to Naples, he got his own personal coach, and I mean, he could have rested on his laurels, but he didn't.
I mean, you told me about the documentary, and a couple of other people have told me. It's the most amazing documentary ever, isn't that right?
I've watched it several times, and it's just.
What would it be about him though? Why was he so, like, his character, his power? What is it? How does people get that?
Well, I suppose when you're given such a gift, it's like, it's a little bit. When I come out of my coma, I come out and they didn't give me a lot of chance. Something inside some people, you've got determination and desire to want to live and overcome everything else, and this fella had it in spades of, you know, the determination. He got kicked by, I mean, when
he
you
had
see,
that never say die attitude all the time.
He was just a phenomenon in that respect. That, you know, someone said that he's proved that he was the best player in the world, where Messi couldn't carry Argentina through as a one-man band, but Maradona could. But that doesn't really give you the whole story. The whole story, all round, this fella was simply the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Of our time.
No, I 100% agree with that, and it's a big, sad loss for football, not just in Argentina, but the whole world. Is really that we're all in mourning regarding him at 60 years of age. You know, it's just heartbreaking for everybody, and we're going to raise our glass for Diego. Rest in peace, young man, and you and the family. Let's hope all the family and everybody all get together and look after him.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Got it.